Hi everyone, glad to see you again. Thank you for joining me. My name is Alina. I'm the creator of this channel. Today I've got a new recipe for you. It's a simple recipe for balsamic sauteed kale and onions. I like it because, everybody knows that kale is super healthy, but like when it comes to cooking it, it can sometimes be a little, confusing. Like, all right, these big leaves, like what do we do with them? It goes with just about anything. I've made it for like grilled sausages. We like to grill beyond sausages every now and then, and this is makes a nice side for them in like mashed potatoes or roasted potatoes along them. Then like at Thanksgiving, if um, collard greens are a big thing usually, but if you're not into collard greens, like my husband unfortunately hates collard greens, so I hardly ever make them. But kale can be a good substitute, something green with texture that's not like overpoweringly over. I don't know what's going on with my tongue today. Overpoweringly strong in flavor, but at the same time, has nice flavor to it. So this dish works really well. Okay, so let me show you what we're going to use. This is actually a pretty simple recipe. There's only a handful of ingredients. So first of all, we've got some kale, which is, no surprise since that's the main thing of in this recipe. Then I've got a shallot, or you can use an onion, just whichever one you like or you have at home. I like shallots because I think when you saute them, there's this extra layer of flavor and aroma that they release compared to regular onions. Yeah, so use whatever you like, either an onion or a shallot, up to you. Then I've got some garlic cloves. I got two of these. If you like things a little bit more garlicky, you can use three. It's up to you. Then we've got balsamic vinegar. Any balsamic vinegar you can get at the store is fine. Then I've got some crushed red pepper. This adds a little bit of spice, but if you don't like spicy, then don't use it or use less of it. And we're gonna finish all of this with the good old salt and pepper. Yeah, so let's just dig in. Since if you have any questions as we go on, just feel free to ask them in the comments. I'll be checking them and answering whatever questions or comments you have. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to get my second camera. I'm going to take my kale here and get it off of the stems. So it's pretty easy. I'm tearing them as I go just into these little bite-sized pieces. I rinsed this kale earlier. Yeah, always make sure to rinse kale if you're buying whole leaves. Sometimes these little creases along the stem or even the curly parts can have dirt stuck in there. And that's, the last thing you want to taste, or feel on your teeth, that grit from dirt. Nobody wants that. Okay, the thing with kale and kale side dishes is that when we saute it, like if we saute it for a little bit of time, not a very long time, then it stays kind of tough. But if we cook it for too long to soften that toughness and get the little bit of that bitterness that it has, to get that out, then it kind of turns into this lifeless, thing that's just not always very pleasant to eat, at least in my opinion, unless you add something like very strong to it, be it vinegar or be it like some extra spices. But this dish, we will cook the kale very quickly. And obviously we want it to be tender. So how do we, combine the best of both worlds? So to fix that, I'm going to massage this kale. I know, like a few years ago, massaged kale salads, they were all the rage, to the extent that there were like memes about them. Like, I'm always the last to get on a on some fancy trend. So I know I'm trying to get better about it, but it really works. Not only just for salads, like if you're making a salad with kale, but also for, if you're cooking it. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my stove. I have this big 12-inch round pan that's a non-stick by Ninja. I like it a lot because it's a heavy bottom, nice heft to it. It transmits and retains heat very well. So I'm going to turn it on medium heat. If you're making this in any size pan that you have, just make sure that it's a pan that has a lid, because it's a matching 12-inch lid. All right, so we got that going, and we're gonna massage the kale in a minute. Before we do that, I'm going to slice this shallot. So I'm just going to cut it in half and just slice it pretty thin. Shallot, as onion family goes, like I've heard that it's one of the healthiest, or most nutrient dense onions that there is. Purple vegetables, be it purple onion, the purple shallots, they're like naturally have a little bit of this purpleness in them. They are higher in those good for you nutrients than their counterparts that are white or yellow, lighter colors. So here we go. Once the pan is hot, so it's getting there, we're going to put this. I'm going to use a little bit of oil. If you're oil free, you can use some either water or veggie broth. I like this with oil because I think it caramelizes a little bit better. But it's up to you. If you use broth or water, it's still going to be pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. And now we can go and start massaging our kale. I got some tea over here. This is Lady Grey tea. And if you're into teas, if you've never tried this, I highly recommend. It's really nice. It's Twinings Lady Grey. Everybody heard about Earl Grey, which is nice as it goes, but Lady Grey, if you've never tried, check it out. I think there's like orange peel or lemon peel or something. It's really like nice thing. You take a sip and you're like, oh, wow. All right, I'm going to start massaging my kale. And if you've never done this, then there's no right or wrong way to do this. Just as long as you really go kind of hard on it, or go soft, but just a little longer. We can rub it together and squeeze it and mush it. The purpose is to do this until it gets softer and reduces in volume, and it will also turn a brighter shade of green. The more we massage them, the more tender it will be after we cook it. I don't know if you can notice the difference in shade here, but it is a little bit brighter. All right, I think that should do. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and put our shallots in the pan. A little bit of oil. Like I said, you can use broth or water or oil spray if you so wish. I'm using avocado oil. That's my go-to thing. I get this big thing at Costco. It's a high heat thing, and I say it every time. So I don't want to repeat myself, but in case this is your first time watching my live streams, high heat oil means that you can heat it hotter than other oils without it getting smoky. Because when it gets smoky, there are some carcinogens that can start forming in there. Another oil that you can use that I sometimes use is grapeseed. It's cheaper than avocado oil, and it's also high smoke point oil. However, if you know about omega-3 and 6 and 9 fatty acids that are good for us, the good for us thing is the balance between those three. And I'm not sure exactly what the balance is, but the omega-6 tends to be higher in most cooking oils like vegetable oil and grapeseed oil, and the oil in that fried food is fried at fast food restaurants. And when there's too much omega-6s but not enough omega-3s, that causes this balance that's not good for our health. Avocado oil doesn't have it, so it's better for us in that respect. Anyway, let's dump this in and give it a little toss. Oh, I can smell them immediately. It smells so good. Now that we've massaged our kale, the next thing that we're gonna use is, so we're gonna cook this until it starts softening, maybe caramelizes a little bit. Anyway, garlic. This is how, if garlic kind of seems confusing to you, like what you're supposed to do, this is how I peel it. So you take the unpeeled clove and put the knife on it and give it a nice whack. And this way it peels like super easy. If you can see it. Yeah, see, it comes right out. Be really careful with it. I'm going to slice it into these thin slivers. See about this thin. And I'm just going to chop them. I used to have this nifty garlic mincer thing that was like this round plastic thing with a wheel that had like blades on it. You put the cloves in there and then you just roll it on the tables or any surface, and the blades would go around and mince the garlic. I used it for a few years and then it broke, and I haven't seen them in stores. Watch your fingers, of course, if you're doing this. So let's go check out our onions, shallots. Let's see if we're getting there. Oh, the smell is just divine. Dump it all in. Mix it all together. Oh, and now I can smell the garlic, and it's just together with shallots, it's just a divine smell. Okay, so I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. What's happening next? We're going to put our massaged kale in there and toss it all together and put the lid on. Why are you putting the lid on? Because as the kale cooks, the water from it starts evaporating, and since it's trapped under the lid, it will get the greens to steam. This way they reduce quicker. You can use the same thing with spinach whenever you're cooking spinach. Like once you put spinach in the bowl, in the pan, put the lid on, and it will, reduce quickly this way. Okay, and once we do that, we'll let it steam for like a minute or two. All right, there we are. Let's toss it. I think I'm going to need another spatula to help me. Oh, look at that pretty green color. Okay. Oops. Some of it falling out of my pan. Why is it happening to me today? I don't know. Okay, there we are. And the lid goes on. And this goes in the garbage. Okay, so this is cooking for like a minute or two. I might toss it like halfway through just to make sure it's all good. So while we have time, I have to tell you that next week I won't have a live stream on Friday because I'm going out of town for a family situation. Not like vacation, but still, I'm just not going to be here. But after that, we will resume as always. So if you're new here, what I do is that I offer my email subscribers, if you're not on my email subscriber list, I offer email subscribers to pick recipes that they'd like me to make every week. So what I've been doing is that at the beginning of the month, I send out an email to my email subscribers with a few options, and they can pick a few that they like, and then the four that get the most votes, I will make them in the live streams of that month, starting at the high, like the number one winner will be the first Friday, then number two is the second, and number three, and so on. So yeah, if you'd like to participate in what's going to happen in next month, I have a link down in the video description for how you could go and subscribe to my email list. And yeah, you can this way, help me decide what to, or not help me, actually, you'll tell me what you'd like me to make during these live streams. All right, let's toss this and see what's happening. This is even brighter green color now. Lovely. The smell, like I wish there was a way to convey that smell on video, but there's not. So you just have to trust me. Such a simple thing, but simple side dish, but really amazing smell. This is actually really good with mashed potatoes. I love how this kale goes with mashed potatoes. All right, so next is the last phase of this whole situation. I'm going to add some salt and pepper to taste. This we can always adjust later to our liking. And toss it again. And now I'm going to turn this off, turn the heat off, and I'm going to pour balsamic vinegar on here. It will get sizzly, so you'll probably hear it'll, get a little loud. Okay, and so it starts evaporating immediately, and we want to try to cover every bit of kale in this balsamic, before it evaporates. It gets kind of darker too, as you can see. Yeah, it's because this particular balsamic vinegar that I have is pretty dark. It's thicker and darker as usual. Okay. Ooh, nice. Okay, and that's it. So I'm going to take this off. Oops. Put it back over here. Do some rearranging. Oh. Yeah, so it's still going, which is okay. Ouchie. Burned myself a little bit. I think you can see it's fine now. Okay, and crushed red pepper. Last finishing touch. This you can either do right here in the pan, or as you serve it, like on separate plates, you can, add some, because like maybe some people in your family like it spicier and others don't like it spicy at all. So you can add red pepper flakes later. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take this out of here, because if I do, I think it'll get overcooked. There might be a question, like, can you make this in advance? And the answer is you can, and you just keep it in the fridge. But honestly, I think it tastes best if it's fresh made, and it doesn't really take that long. You can totally make this at the same time as when you're making something else, like say Thanksgiving dinner. You know, have like a ton of things going, and this really doesn't take a long time to put together. Okay, so here we go. It smells really good. It smells just amazing, like some kind of Italian sophisticated thing. Let's do a taste test. It's super hot still, obviously. Wow. It's really like an explosion of flavor. It's garlicky. It's tangy from the balsamic. Just great. The kale is nice and tender. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty good thing. I mean, I might be biased, of course, because it's my recipe. So, by the way, you can get a written recipe version of this recipe on my website, Vegan Runner Eats. And I'll link it up in the comments and also in the video description. If you go there, you can get the printable recipe card and, see all the extra tips and tricks and whatnot. And pretty pictures, obviously. But yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's about it. We covered everything. I told you that next week we won't have a live stream, but join me 2 weeks from now in May, and also get on my subscriber list to get options for the live streams for the next month, for the month of May. I'll be sending out this email, probably not this coming Monday, but the Monday after I come back from our trip. Yeah, so thank you so much. Give this video a like down below, please, because it's not really, doesn't take you anything, but it's really nice for me. I mean, for this video and for YouTube, likes it when people leave likes on videos. Yeah, and so thank you so much for watching. If you have, hi Kathy, you said good morning. Yeah, just now saw it. Yeah, if you have any questions later, if you're watching this as a rerun, please leave them below and I'll come and answer. Okay, thank you so much. I hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend coming up. I will see you in a couple weeks, and bye-bye. Have a good weekend.